From multiple locations via the miracle of Skype, it's the LTN Hour. Let's talk NASCAR with your host, Todd Bailing. Co-host, Ed Kaluka. Featuring dangerous Dan Margetta. And Brian Schmidt. LTN is a caller-driven program, and your participation is encouraged by calling 414-421-7901. That's 414-421-7901. Now, the creator and host of the fastest hour in radio, Todd Bailing.
And good morning. Welcome to the program. Glad you could join us. We're getting ready for the start of the race season already. Can you believe it? It's actually here. Big fun. Hello there, Todd Bailing in Phoenix, Arizona, joined by my three partners, Ed Kaluka of West Bend, Wisconsin. Morning, Eddie.
Good morning, Todd. Looking forward to heat races today.
Yeah, 4 o'clock this afternoon on Channel 6. You don't even have to have satellite or cable or any of that, but Dan has all of that, don't you, Dan Margetta of St. Francis, Wisconsin?
Oh, yeah, we got to find so many different things to watch races on. You got to have them all. And I'm just ready to go. We're going racing again. The season's starting. Let's go.
Amazing, isn't it? And Brian Schmidt, who's been moonlighting as a basketball announcer, I guess, this week from Utzberg, USA. Morning, Brian.
Yeah, a little bit of that, but looking forward to get the racing going here. Some good old short track racing. I mean, really short track racing today. So
you say short. It's a half mile. Do you realize that?
Quarter mile.
Well, I always thought it was, but I read it this morning. It's supposed to be a half.
No,
that means those straightaways are a quarter mile each. That doesn't make sense.
No, that's a quarter mile. That's a quarter mile. It's the same length as a track, running track, which is a quarter mile around. So that's a misprint if you saw a half mile. This is really a quarter mile.
Same size as Slinger?
Yeah.
Yeah,
probably around the outside, I guess.
I find that hard to believe.
Well, I can tell you right now that Aaron Baird is on top of it, and we'll put it up onto Facebook as soon as he does the research. But I did see half mile, and I went, half mile? Wait a minute. Let's just see. They're doing a lap in 13 seconds. Yeah. That doesn't sound like a half mile.
It's a half mile.
That'd be quicker than Bristol. No way.
Yeah.
No, that's a quarter mile. They're going really slow, too, because around the corner, you almost got to come to a stop to get around that corner.
Well, according to Aaron, it's a quarter mile Coliseum and a half mile Fontana.
Yes, Fontana's going to be the half mile.
There you go. Justin Haley, can you believe this, was fast qualifier in the 31 car. He went 67.099 miles per hour. He went around that quarter mile in 13.413 seconds.
Yeah, he's got a good tire guy over there. That's the key.
Do we know him?
Yeah, Justin Grosser's from Wisconsin. I'm just saying that.
Oh, nice. Well,
no, I think you're right, Dan.
There you go.
It's critical here.
Figured it out.
Getting the right stagger is a very, very important deal on his little bull ring.
Heat races get underway, as Ed mentioned, at 4 o'clock today on Channel 6. The feature will be 7. Well, they come on with their pre-race for the feature. It's 7, but it's about 7:20. They'll get the green flag. Joey Logano, of course, defending series champion and defending Busch Clash champion. And this week, Joey's got himself some new hair. Remember that UFO landing pad he had on the top of his head? Well, it's gone now, and he looks just a little bit like Kim Jong-un. But that's okay.
Well, to make the race today, we have 4 heat races, 5 cars from each heat, and then we have a 50-lap last chance race where 6 more cars will transfer, and then a last chance provisional, which on the air yesterday they said that if the 54 car does not make it in through the heat races or the last chance race, he would go home. Now, we seem to be at a difference of opinion, right, Brian?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's got Kyle Busch's points from last year, so that car finished 13th in the points. So, it could be the true, but in front of him is Cindric, Dillon, Suarez, Briscoe, Blaney, Larson, Byron, Hamlin, Elliott, Bell, Chastain, and Logano. So if any one of those cars that I mentioned doesn't make it through, then they're going to go instead of the 54.
Yeah, you're not guaranteed.
6 cars go home, or 9.
Do they use Cup Series points for an exhibition race?
No.
So your provisional points are based on last year's owner points. like it used to be.
There are no points awarded for the race.
Right.
No, there aren't. But
to make the field, it's kind of like remember the Daytona speed with the qualifiers that you weren't guaranteed, like where the 54s are now. You're not guaranteed a provisional. You're going to have to probably race your way in. If all those guys in front of you get in, then you're okay.
And 9 cars are going home.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean, I think they probably said that because the 12 car, he's starting last in the heat race also, so he's got a long road to hoe to get up there. Chase Elliott is starting 8th in his heat race, so judging,
it could be because he has no qualifying at all. Think that enters into the picture that he didn't attempt to qualify. He's got 0.000 for his time.
Yeah, it's 'cause the car.
Well, it's because the car bursted into flames.
Right.
What exactly is that about? Does this have something to do with last year's issues with that car?
Yes, it does. It's tire buildup in that area, but supposedly they blocked that off so the rubber could get in there. But according to pictures I saw, that fire started well inside the door.
Yeah, I think it was home, and because they put the mufflers on the cars now, and people are saying that might have been the way
you're right, Dan.
But what gets me, though, is, I mean, if you watch the practice, in his first, they did 3 different groups of practice, and they each go out there 3 times. So the first time he was out there, he had issues. He had smoke in the car, and he said, I think I got something burning. And he went back into the pit area, and the crew basically said it was fine. So I'm thinking to myself, did they not even check?
His spotter told him at the time, no, that's just tire smoke.
Yeah. I mean, did they not even crawl underneath there and check? Because, I mean, it appears, there's a lot of rubber buildup inside there, and that rubber bursts into flames. And when you get rubber burning, you get that really black smoke, which is what he had. And then
did they have enough laps on there to have that much rubber to catch fire?
Yeah, I don't know.
Something sounds wrong. I don't know what it is, but it just something doesn't add up there. We'll have to keep a close eye on it.
If that was true, that there was that much rubber in there, we're going to have only get 4 sets of tires for this event. Might be trouble.
Yeah, could be. I mean, and the other thing was the muffler. I mean, that's something new that they didn't have. I don't think at Phoenix they tested them enough where they had so much tire wear and stuff, right? They have something like that.
Right.
There's lots of questions, and we're going to have to kind of watch and learn all at the same time. They do have 4 heats, as Ed mentioned, and the top 5 from each heat will be automatically locked in, and they even have a last chance race, Ed, right?
Yeah, 50 laps.
Yeah, 6 cars come out of that.
And how many laps is the feature anyway?
150, I think.
Yeah,
150.
So 150 and a 50. So this is going to be a full afternoon and evening's worth of entertainment for you on Channel 6 today. So interesting all the way around.
Brian, we were in the pre-race. We were talking about the mufflers, and what came to your mind?
With the mufflers?
Yeah.
I
can't remember.
You can't remember.
Oh, yeah, the mufflers. They said they're going to get a muffler sponsor. And remember back in the day, the rattle, rattle, thunder, clatter, boom, 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 car acts? That'd be a good one for that.
All the car X, man. There you go. It's beautiful. Well, it all gets underway at 4 o'clock, and we'll know a lot more as we get going. And some things happened this week. We're picking up steam as the racing season starts 2 weeks from today. It actually doesn't start. The first points race is 2 weeks from today. It'll start a heck of a lot before that, as they've got a whole week worth planned at Daytona, which many folks are going down to, including our own Dan Margetta and Brian Schmidt, correct?
You betcha.
And you're going to be going to New Smyrna also?
Yes, we plan on making a stop there. Yep.
And dirt track racing, I would imagine, right?
Volusia, yep.
Okay. Oh.
So when do you leave, Dan?
Tuesday the 14th.
Oh, okay.
Ed, I just remember that week because I would always go and leave Marge and the kids behind and, happy Valentine's Day, honey. I'm going to Daytona without you. Yeah.
I know the feeling because that's what I'm doing.
That's back in the day when you did the show from the phone booth out on the street there.
No kidding. I had to wait in line to get to the phone. And then the guy with me would turn around and tell the people behind me in line, he's going to be an hour and a half.
Didn't you give your phone to somebody to make a call because they wouldn't go away?
That was that was the year that George W. Bush banked around the racetrack with Air Force One, and I was on a phone. And some guy was coming up and giving me a hard time, and I didn't know what to do because this was when cell phones were very young and they were very expensive to use, and he wasn't shutting up. So I just handed him my cell phone and told him to go make a call, and that's when I was paying, I don't know, 50 cents a minute or some crap like that.
Wow.
Back in the day, in the good old days. And that, you know what? That wasn't even at the track. I had to drive around looking, and there was a strip mall with a phone booth. And that's where I was doing the phone from. You know, show business, folks. You got to do it one way or the other. We'll be back after these.
Hey, race fans, Elkhart Lake's Road America Season Pass is now available at early bird pricing for a limited time. The Road America Season Pass makes a great gift for you or the racing fan on your gift list. This special personalized pass includes 50-plus days of racing, including the IndyCar, Superbikes, and more. Hurry and order your Season Pass today at roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com or 1-800-365-RACE. Road America, your national park of speed.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship-winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at WagnerAutomotive.com. EMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily, from premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit PMFlandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
This is Two Pros and a Cup of Joe.
We're getting back into it. You know what's amazing about the Rodgers thing? He didn't like, and the Packer fan base and the organization didn't like Brett Favre's going back and forth on whether or not he wanted to come back. The conversation back then was, well, it's not fair to Rodgers. He deserves a chance to play.
Two Pros. LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, and a Cup of Joe. Jonas Knox.
Weekday mornings 5 to 8 on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
And welcome back to LTN. Glad you could join us. The racing season gets underway today with the Busch Light Clash from the LA Coliseum. My slinger partner, Dean Strom, is the announcer at the LA Coliseum. That is about the coolest gig he could possibly get. That's why I now call him Hollywood. He's the man. That's just fantastic. And
he's good at it too.
Yes, he's outstanding. And if you get a chance, you'll probably hear him on, like you only hear the track announcer as they introduce the people singing the anthem and whatnot. And they've got all kind of Hollywood entertainers lined up for this thing. It's not a real race, They're trying to bring in more marketability and give it to a wider audience and show it to LA what they can do and all of that.
And this week, it's only last year when he went out there, you got to go through 5 airports to get there just because of weather delays and everything else with flights. I think this year it only was 2. I was with him on Thursday, and his flight got canceled like Thursday night. I'm like, here we go again, but he's able to get it rescheduled.
Hey, by the way, this track now, as we know, it's a major undertaking to do this. I made a couple of notes here. There's 4.5 feet of dirt put over the football field, and then they put over 1,500 tons of asphalt over it. And to put it in and take it out, they started in the middle of December, and they've been working on it pretty much nonstop since then, with taking off for the holidays, and that's about it. There's no big hurry to get rid of it after this, because the next scheduled whatever is going on there is not for months yet, I guess. So they can take their time getting rid of it. But are they going to really want to get rid of it that fast? There's a couple of ideas that have come up. One might be to do some other racing there. And, they're going to tear out the California racetrack when this year's race is over at Fontana. That's a 2-mile track, and they're going to start the process of making that into a half-mile track because there's more action on a shorter track, as we all know, and they want to make that change the whole vibe of the Fontana race. But next year, they're not going to be done with the new track, and it's been floated that maybe next year they're going to put the Cup race, the actual 40-car Cup race, on this quarter-mile track. Now, it's just been kicked around. I believe somebody probably just put it on, hey, why don't we just do that instead next year? It just doesn't add up, does it, fellas? I can't see it.
No, I don't. Go ahead, Dan.
I'm with you, Brian. I don't think it's great as an exhibition to kick the season off because we had racing so long. But
27 cars.
Right. This as a points race, I don't think would go over as well.
And if you think about what a regular weekend looks like at California, you have the Xfinity Series there as well. And as was stated last year when they brought these new Cup cars out there, Kevin Harvick said that the old style car, which includes the way the Xfinity car and a truck operate, you wouldn't be able to get around those corners because the steering is different in those cars. So I can't see them just holding strictly a Cup race there and not running the Xfinity Series. I'd be more for, if you're not going to have California ready, go over to Irwindale. Find a way to make it work that you could run an event at Irwindale. That would be spectacular.
Oh, wouldn't it?
Versus this Coliseum, because the racing at Irwindale, it doesn't matter what they race there. It's awesome the way that track was built and configured, and maybe add a bunch of seats there or something. But that would be my recommendation: is find a way to have a race at Irwindale. I think it would be knock it out of the park.
Really great idea. I wonder what the schedule is. Weren't they supposed to make that into a strip mall a while back? And
that all was off the table now. So now it's up and running and functioning, and it appears to be for the foreseeable future that place is going to be there, which is great because it's one of the better tracks in the country asphalt wise.
I would say. Well,
I wonder if that new half-mile track is going to be like Bristol, bank like Bristol.
I don't think it was going to be that much from what I was reading.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be either. But I think that the track that you would, if you're going to trying to copy a different track, the Richmond track. Now it's going to be smaller. Richmond is 3/4 mile, which I think is just about as perfect a layout as you can have. But I think this one is going to be at a half. It is supposed to be banked, but nowhere near the banking that they'll have at Bristol. So at least that's what I understood, and we're going to find out. It's going to be a 2-year process to build this place. Our good friends Johnny Sauter and Derek Kraus have found themselves rides in the Truck Series for Daytona. That's the good news. The bad news is that, well, what's a nice way to put this? I wouldn't put a hell of a lot of money on them. Johnny is in the 47 car truck, and Derek Kraus in the 20 truck. Neither has been known to be a front runner. Now, I always try to remember what Robbie Reiser told us. 80% of the deal is what climbs in through the window. Johnny Sauter is going to run up front with that 47 truck, whether it wants to run up there or not. He's the kind of guy that goes straight to the front. But isn't this the same truck that he gave you guys a pretty interesting synopsis of last year? He drove it once before, right?
Of the two, the 20 truck is probably the better truck that Kraus has. Yeah. That 47 is something to see, right, Brian? What did
Johnny say?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he didn't know who was doing what or anything. But
it was a tetanus shot. That's how it went?
Yeah. I thought maybe you need a tetanus shot to get in it. But remember, we're at Daytona, and the ironic part is the truck that Derek Kraus is in is the same team that Johnny helped at Phoenix at the end of the season. And Johnny had great things to say about that Young Motorsports team. He said they needed more funding and they needed to work on their stuff. But he had high praise for how hard the group worked, how well they were into it, and all that type of stuff. So
you're talking about the car that Kraus is going to drive.
Kraus is going to drive, correct? Yeah. So, and then when you're at Daytona, all bets are off. If you can keep it in the draft, anybody has a shot to win at Daytona. So, and I think the same thing here. Now, maybe Johnny has a year under his belt with Tim Vaines' operation. Maybe they're going to upgrade their stuff a little bit. Obviously, he must feel a lot better about it, because when we talked to him last year afterwards, he said he was never going to do anything like that again. So something must have changed that he's feeling better about this opportunity this year. So
opportunity, and he's going to. I mean, Johnny will be down there. He's running New Smyrna, I think, on that Tuesday night with Richie Waters' car. So he's there, and opportunity to come up on
Might as well. He's right in the neighborhood. We're glad you're tuned in on this beautiful Sunday morning, and we'll be back with you right after these messages.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
The Milwaukee Admirals return from the All-Star break Friday night to play host to the Rockford Ice Hogs at Panther Arena. Sanford going to the net. Feed comes to Sanford. Shoots, he scores! Zach Sanford with the winner! Pre-game coverage at 6:30. Face-off at 7 on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
What a finish tonight in Milwaukee!
Miller Sales and Service is the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer for customer service and satisfaction. Serving the area since 1939, Miller's is located on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. As the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer, Miller's has all kinds of Bravo trailers from 8 feet to 48 feet in stock. They also have a selection of B&B utility and dump trailers, reliable and Chilton open aluminum and steel trailers. With over 50 pre-owned low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs, Miller's has just the vehicle you are looking for. Miller's also carries a full line of Alumacraft boats and Manitou pontoon boats, complete with Evinrude outboards. Why not buy from racers who know what racers want and need? With Miller's Sales and Service on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. Call Jerry, Tom, or Brad Miller today at 920-994-4358. That's Miller's Sales and Service, 920-994-4358.
This is Two Pros and a Cup of Joe.
We're getting back into it.
We got Aaron Rodgers watch. We're in week 2 of this whole thing, and something tells me this is going to continue on until right after the Super Bowl.
I don't think he wants to come back. Now it's I do not want to come back. But how do I get out in a way where maybe he's unscathed?
Two Pros. LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, and a Cup of Joe. Jonas Knox.
Weekday mornings 5 to 8 on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
It's a new year, so let's change some more rules. We do that regularly in NASCAR. I guess the one that makes the biggest splash is the greatest move in the history of NASCAR, in the 75-year history of NASCAR. It has been outlawed. It was done once, and the Chastain move will never be done again, at least within the rules. It's a safety issue, I understand. It sure was entertaining and sure gave us something to talk about. Not just us. It gave everyone that ever was a race fan of any kind the Monday morning, hey, did you see that move in that NASCAR race yesterday? What was that all about? Well,
I think it was almost as big as the Daytona fight.
Yeah, no kidding. Exactly right. So that's gone, but that's not the end of the rules changes. There are plenty of them. And you guys want to just start throwing them out there and we can kick them around just a little bit?
Some kind of stood out. I mean, a big one was the top 30 anymore. You don't have to be in the top 30 in points to make the playoffs. Before, even if you won a race and ran all the races, you still would be in the top 30. You don't have to do that anymore. So we could have like a car that usually doesn't win Daytona, and they would be in there. You have to run all the races still, though, unless you have a waiver. So in other words, you can't just have a one-off come up and win a race and get in.
And waivers are kind of looks like they expanded waivers a little bit, that you keep applying for waivers if for some reason, like a driver's hurt or whatever, right?
So the Justin Haley thing a couple years ago at Daytona, that still would not have put him in under these new rules, correct?
Did he not run all the races?
I don't think he did that year, right? For the Spire team, was that just part-time?
Right, you would need if the team ran all the races, but not the driver, so you'd have to get a waiver, I think, for that. If the driver attempts all the races and he wins, no matter where he is in the points, he'll get in the playoffs.
Wow, I guess that's good, right?
Yeah.
Winners in there.
Oh, I mean, what if Jimmy Johnson wins? He doesn't contempt all the races.
Wouldn't that be awesome? Get his 8th championship?
They'd give him a waiver. I wonder. We'll see.
See at the start of the playoffs.
The wet weather one is also another new one. In 2023, they're going to, any track a mile or less, they're going to show up with the wet weather equipment. So that includes today at the Coliseum, which isn't going to be an issue. Martinsville, New Hampshire, North Wilkesboro for the All-Star Weekend. Phoenix, usually not an issue there. Richmond, Lucas Oil Raceway Park for the Truck Series, and the Milwaukee Mile. So that could be interesting. We all know how the weather is in Milwaukee around here. Last year's ARCA race ended just before the storms hit. Going to be interesting to see what they use as their criteria for using that type of, wet weather tire, because Milwaukee can get puddles, and I'm sure you're not going to be able to race around there in puddles. So
it's going to be 100% wet. We'll race, but if it's like 50 to 60% wet, I think we'll try it.
The lost wheel rule was kind of modified a little bit. It says about, boy, that was a pain in the ass, because 4 guys got kicked out for. Or was it 2 guys for 4 races? That's what it was, right? If a wheel came loose during a race, I mean, that was a pretty stiff. If the event, a lost wheel was contained to pit road, the offending team will be subject to a pass-through. If the infraction occurs during a caution period, the offending team will restart at the tail of the field. If a wheel breaks outside of pit road, the new rules guidelines mandate a 2-lap penalty, a 2-race suspension for 2 crew members. That's what it was before, wasn't it? Or no, it was 4 races. That's right.
Yeah, it was 4. Yeah, they modified a little bit there. And then the orange boxes on pit road now for each pit stall or something. You can't get inside of them. You can't really brush pit crews back or try to get an advantage by cutting it close, coming in your pit box. That would be interesting, because that's going to be kind of a sharp turn, don't you think, Ed?
Yeah, it's going to be there'll be an orange stripe on a 45-degree angle at the front of the pit box that you can't go over that orange stripe on your entry. It used to be you could enter 2 pit stalls before your pit, but that got to be such a hassle with tire, brushing guys that were already out on a pit stop, and then the guy would get close to the guy changing tires. So now you can't turn into your pits until you get to that orange stripe.
That's going to be pretty wild, isn't it?
It's going to be a hard turn.
That's a pretty, I don't know. That's one I think they're going to watch and see if it's able to be maintainable, because a last-second dive into your pits, what could go wrong? It doesn't sound like it would. There's a lot more that can go wrong that can go right. So I don't
can see a lot more cars at a 45-degree angle in a pit stall.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it sure makes sense. The restart zone for the first 5 events are going to be increased by 50%. I don't know, why that's an issue. Officials indicate would assess after the Atlanta event whether the larger restart zone will be used in subsequent races. So it's kind of a test pattern there, I guess. And the choose rule determining the restart order been expanded, with super speedways and dirt track events adopting the procedure. It's the cone, right, Brian?
Yep.
And the one that you suggested, not that soon before they just decided to make it a rule.
Right. Well, at Martinsville, remember, there was a lot of games being played at Martinsville. Guys would try to brake check on pit road to make sure they got where they started and all that type of stuff. So the cone rule has been the best thing to get that type of game playing out of the way.
The 7-minute repair clock for work performed, as was the case. No specialized repair tools. Tow links are allowed to be replaced.
Right, the crash clock got increased because they found it was taking a little bit longer to fix some of these cars. I think you're not as tight a window. It was still a pretty tight window. You can't destroy your car and get back out there.
There's a lot of tweaking from one year to the next.
And one of the best ones is the road course one. Taking the stage point thing out of the road course racing is going to open up strategy on road course racing, which we haven't been able to see since they went to this type of racing. If you go to an IndyCar race at Road America and you watch how that goes, sometimes you don't know exactly. These teams kind of tweak it because you want to be the first guy to pit last. That's always been your strategy, so that when everybody else pits, they fall in line behind you. Well, the last 2 years, the Cup race at Road America, the biggest complaint has been that it's been boring because there's been no strategy at play. So this is going to now open up the strategy at the road course races. Unfortunately, they're not at Road America this year, but for the Xfinity race, it should make it interesting. And you're going to have a completely different type of race now than what you've seen before when they go to those tracks. So I think that's a great idea to do that, especially with the long caution laps that it takes to do that also. So strategy is going to be huge.
What they're doing is they're still awarding stage points, just not taking a break.
Right. No caution. So now you're not going to know when the cautions are, which is going to open it wide open now to figure out how you run your race when you don't know that cautions are going to be at a certain time.
Rules are in a constant state of flux. That's not the worst thing. At least they're upgrading and improving as far as we can tell. We'll be right back.
Hey, race fans, Elkhart Lake's Road America Season Pass is now available at early bird pricing for a limited time. The Road America Season Pass makes a great gift for you or the racing fan on your gift list. This special personalized pass includes 50-plus days of racing, including the IndyCar, Superbikes, and more. Hurry and order your Season Pass today at roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com or 1-800-365-RACE. Road America, your national park of speed.
The Milwaukee Admirals return from the All-Star break Friday night to play host to the Rockford Ice Hogs at Panther Arena. Stanford going to the net. Feed comes to Stanford. Shoots, he scores! Zach Stanford with the winner! Pre-game coverage at 6:30. Face-off at 7 on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
What a finish tonight in Milwaukee!
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
This is The Herd.
The winner in this is also
Colin Cowherd.
So Aaron Rodgers, this is what I like. Aaron doesn't have the rancor or bitterness that Brett Favre had in the end in Green Bay. So it is now officially being acknowledged by Aaron and others. He is in the 50-50, they may trade me category.
This is The Herd.
Weekdays 3 to 6 on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
Not a broken wheel.
All right, it has a very important distinction in what we were talking about with the wheels.
Yeah, the rule says if a wheel breaks free outside of pit road. In other words, if it comes off the car, not if the wheel itself breaks.
Yeah, that's a different deal completely. Did they have, I don't remember there being a super big issue with broken wheels, were there?
No, there's no way these wheels would break.
There's some couple of tidbits of bad news to come out this week, unfortunately. Trevor Boyes, remember him? The Canadian race car driver. We used to kid around and always introduce him as Trevor Boyes A. He died at 65 years old this week. Didn't say anything about that I read what the problem was, but he started more races than any Canadian-born driver. So he has that.
My first Cup race was Talladega 1984. Trevor Boyes was driving James Hilton car, the 48 car, and he went across the tri-oval on his roof. I remember seeing that, and I'm like, oh, my gosh.
Yeah, pretty crazy stuff.
What a memory you have, Dan.
Yeah, well, that's the kind of stuff that sticks out in your memory. It was good at crashing. 65, boy, oh boy. Older I get, the younger that seems. And Chocolate Myers, we know of him as being part of the Junkyard Dogs that Ed's sons were on for Richard Childress Racing when they all were on the crew for Dale Earnhardt Sr. He is now an announcer. He has a radio show, daily radio show on Sirius XM. And we found out this week that he has a very rare aggressive cancer that's called mantle cell lymphoma B. It's going to be tough for him, but he's going to continue to work as much as he can all the way through his treatment. So if you're a listener to his radio program, you will hear what he's going to be going through. It's going to be quite a battle, and we'll be interested in hearing that. Gentlemen, didn't take long for there to be practice problems yesterday. Chase Briscoe and AJ Allmendinger. It's practice, for crying out loud. and Allmendinger put Briscoe into the wall during practice. What's that about?
Like they said on Twitter, you're seeing full-time AJ now. He's back. This is full-time series. He wasn't taking anything. I mean, Briscoe, and actually, if you saw that incident, Briscoe's on the inside, Allmendinger's on the outside, and Allmendinger kind of didn't really give him any room on the inside. He kind of pinched him a little bit there, and Briscoe was like, "Hey, I'm here," and they made contact. And then going into turn 3, it was, "You're going to the moon, Chase," and AJ just sent him into the fence.
The funny part about that is that Tony Stewart's head went down in an announcer's booth when the first contact was made. He knew that payback was coming.
And it didn't take long, and he didn't sound overly upset, which, that was his car going in the wall there, and he was very calm, actually, I thought. But for watching his car get wrecked. So either way, this is what they want. This is what they're going to get on a tight course like they're racing on today. And if you think that's all you're going to see of that, this is why they wanted to do this in front of a big crowd and such a short track. It's going to be entertainment for those of you who really love that sort of thing, I guess. Dan, we've got a couple of minutes here yet before the break, and I wanted you to talk a little bit about the TV negotiation. The contract is up for negotiations, and one of the guys that's a negotiator, a guy by the name of Curtis Polk, who works for the 2311 team, is spilling his guts to the media about it, and we're finding some things out.
Oh, and there's a pretty good article in the Sports Business Journal by Adam Stern, a really good article. We got a chance to read it this last week. It came out. Pretty much laid it out. That right now, their teams, if a winning car is probably going to receive $8 to $10 million per car, and a car that doesn't do so well is going to get $4 to $5 million. They're saying it costs $18 million to run this car, so there's a difference about $8 million. That's why they're looking to get that
one
gap.
Car, right?
One car, yeah. If you're a top car, they're looking to get 16 to 18 per car to cover that up, and 16 teams, 36 charters, and the argument that this Polk guy with Jordan has got some experience with the NBA, and their argument is they think NASCAR is worth $10 billion, and right now charters they say are worth $20 million each. There's 36 of them. 20 times 36 is $720 million. $720 million is only 7% of $10 billion. So they're saying that we're only getting 7% of this, the whole total worth of this. We're the drivers of teams, we're the talent, we're the show. We should be getting more. And by contrast, they're saying the NBA is also worth $10 billion, and the NBA shares $2.6 billion of that 50-50 with all their teams. So a lot more than the $720 million. It's an interesting argument.
More money than this,
right?
They're saying
right now NASCAR's take was, hey, we gave you the next gen car. It was supposed to cut the cost down from your 18 million to 20 to only 12. Well, with inflation, it didn't do that. It's still at 18. And they're saying you teams spend too much money on research and development. You try to get that advantage. You have too much personnel. Be more efficient. And that's their argument, which is not a bad argument. And so somehow we got to find a common ground in there. And there's some talk that maybe they'll have a spending cap will come out of this if this new agreement comes through. Maybe they'll say you can only spend so much. If you go over that, it'll be like a luxury tax, like baseball does, for teams that go crazy on their payrolls. Interesting that's all out there. The negotiators on the hub committees that are negotiating this is this Curtis Polk from 2311, Jeff Gordon from Hendrick, Dave Alpern from Gibbs, and Steve Newmark from Roush Keselowski.
There's a glaring omission there, isn't there?
I don't see any Penske guys or Stuart Haas guys. I'm kind of surprised on that. On the NASCAR
side, committee, right, Dan?
Right. These are the ones that are doing the negotiating. On the NASCAR side, it's Steve Phelps, Steve O'Donnell, Ben Kennedy, and then just Gary Crotty, who's an attorney. So those
suited lawyer for NASCAR.
So those are the negotiating things. Remember, the charter agreement is up in 24 as well with the TV deal. It wasn't permanent. They may make it permanent going forward. That's something that's on the table. They also brought up some interesting things to maybe discuss, maybe a driver retirement pension fund kind of thing. So we'll see what all comes up. I think 24 at the end of that year, we're going to have a whole lot of idea of how it's going to go forward, and it's pretty important to get this done right.
Were the tracks mentioned at all in this article? Like, remember that was a big part of this too. The last time TV contracts.
Well, yeah, because tracks right now currently got 65% of it. 65 of the track, 25 of the teams, 10 to NASCAR. And I think they want to cut into that and push more to the teams and less to the tracks. And some of the tracks, they they don't want to give that up,
Well, no. I mean, especially if you look at Chicago, that's going to cost a lot of money to put it on. Or this thing this weekend, how much this is costing to put that on. You cut that out, some of that stuff ends, you would think, right?
Well, shame on them.
Gentlemen,
you don't have to go to Chicago. Fess up.
Yeah. Hey, Dan, of everything you just said, I think one thing is a slam dunk. I mean, it's pretty obvious that the charter system is going to become permanent, don't you think?
I think so. I think it's given them some value for having a charter. You're not seeing teams that have been around forever. When they close up, you really get nothing, no value for it. At least it gives them something for being a part of the deal.
Or can you imagine, hey, I just paid $20 million for a charter, and now you're doing away with the system? Really? Something seems wrong about that. Well, it's got some results and a special surprise guest when we come back.
Miller Sales and Service is the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer for customer service and satisfaction. Serving the area since 1939, Miller's is located on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. As the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer, Miller's has all kinds of Bravo trailers from 8 feet to 48 feet in stock. They also have a selection of B&B utility and dump trailers, reliable and Chilton open aluminum and steel trailers. With over 50 pre-owned low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs, Miller's has just the vehicle you are looking for. Miller's also carries a full line of Alumacraft boats and Manitou pontoon boats, complete with Evinrude outboards. Why not buy from racers who know what racers want and need? With Miller's Sales and Service on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. Call Jerry, Tom, or Brad Miller today at 920-994-4358. That's Miller's Sales and Service, 920-994-4358.
Hey, race fans, Elkhart Lake's Road America Season Pass is now available at early bird pricing for a limited time. The Road America Season Pass makes a great gift for you or the racing fan on your gift list. This special personalized pass includes 50-plus days of racing, including the IndyCar, Superbikes, and more. Hurry and order your Season Pass today at roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com or 1-800-365-RACE. Road America, your national park of speed.
PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily. From premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit PMFlandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
This, keep it on the down low here, is the Dan Patrick Show. But if I'm going to keep Rodgers, then what? If I'm going to trade him, what do I want in return? What happens to Jordan Love? Do you think Jordan Love can play? Can I get 2 first-round picks for Aaron Rodgers? If you said, and I'm running the Packers, the Jets are giving me 2 first-round picks, and they're going to take Aaron Rodgers, I'd sign up for that in a second.
Dan Patrick.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Weekday mornings, 8 to 11 on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
And now the LTN Hour presents Dirt on the Dirt with Brian Schmidt.
The 6-week Speed Week extravaganza continued this week, a little bit lighter, as the only main racing all week was over at East Bay Raceway Park outside of Tampa, Florida, where the Winter Nationals for the UMP Modified started up Tuesday night. Preliminary feature winner Drake Troutman won. Wednesday night was hometown racer Travis Varnador, whose dad is actually the owner of East Bay Raceway Park, his first ever win during Speed Week. So that was a big time win for him. Thursday night there in the UMP Modifieds, Tyler Nicely was your winner. Friday night, Lucas Lee was your winner. And then last night, they added up all the points and lined them up for a $5,000 to win 75-lap feature event for the UMP Modifieds. And Lucas Lee picked up the big money there. Benji Lacrosse also showed up for the final night, and he finished 13th, made his way through the B mains. Cool. Also last night, Sylvania, Georgia at Screven Speedway, the winner Freeze, 10,000 win for the Southern All-Star Late Model Tour. Ross Bales was your winner, and the UMP Modifieds, Kenny Schrader picked up his first feature win of 2023.
Isn't that awesome?
Down at Screven, Georgia, so congratulations to him. And then the big race this weekend was at Lake City, Florida's All-Tech Raceway. Friday night it rained out, so it became a one-day event for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. $15,000 to win last night, and Ricky Thornton Jr. continued his tear.
Clean sweep, baby.
Yep. Since we last spoke, he also won last Sunday night in Ocala. So that's 2 feature wins within a week. Monday night at Ocala was won by Jonathan Davenport. The Lucas Oil
point lead.
Yes, Ricky Thornton now has the point lead. They have 10 races throughout Speed Weeks. They take your best 5 to set your points. And Ricky Thornton Jr., I think he's got 3 seconds and 2 wins. That's a pretty good 5 for him. Lucas Oil Series heads to East Bay for the penultimate round of racing for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series at East Bay. Next year is supposed to be the end of East Bay Raceway Park. We shall see if that happens. But that is on Flow this week, so don't miss it. That's pretty spectacular. They're expecting close to 80 super late models there this week at East Bay. And then the 410 Sprints make their debut down at Speed Weeks this week, as they will be at Volusia starting on Tuesday. And 2 local guys, Billy Baylog and Scotty Thiel, are supposed to be down there. So that'll be on Dirt Vision starting on Tuesday. It'll be fun stuff to watch.
In asphalt results, we don't have any. But today, for those of you who have Flow, will be able to watch the 10th annual Chili Willy 150. There are 2 drivers from Wisconsin that have made the trip all the way from Wisconsin to Tucson, Arizona. Brad Casso, who has raced here in the past for Kelly Byers and has actually, I've been there twice before, and I got to see Brad finish in the top 5. I think he was 5th in that one race. Well, that was impressive run with all these guys from out west here. But this year, Brad is back, and he has brought his quote-unquote teammate, Steve Apel, with him. Steve joins us on the phone right now from down in Tucson, where he's getting to race. It will be starting at 2 o'clock local time, so 3 o'clock Wisconsin time today. Steve, first of all, welcome to the warm weather.
Yeah, it's going to be a beautiful day today. I think a high of 80, so it'd be nice to get some sun and to get out of the cold.
Get out of the cold, get some sun. Now, tell us about the car. From what I have seen, you're having kind of a tough time so far.
Yeah, it's. I would say it's going as about as good as we thought. We made the decision on Friday to put a different tire compound on the right side of the car than what we had practiced on, and we had been in the top 5, top 10 in practice throughout the day on Friday. So we qualified with a different compound on the right, and bad call. So we went back to the drawing board and started over on Saturday. Unfortunately, we were only allowed 1 set of tires for practice, so we practiced all day yesterday on the same tires we practiced on Friday, which were the softer of the compounds. But so we really worked on our long run speed. We bounced back and forth between the 2-barrel and 4-barrel quite a bit, just trying to find drivability and which package we thought was the best. So, and then
also is in your second car, correct?
Yes, yeah. So Brad's in my other car, and he's been pretty happy, I would say, all weekend. He hasn't had a ton of raw speed, but feels like race speed he should be all right.
Now, you guys are you're not your teammates, but you're operating independently of each other, correct?
I mean, kind of. We're both. Brad's got a couple crew guys, and then our crew guys are all working together. We're all out of one trailer, so we're bouncing ideas off each other, seeing what works, what doesn't. So I would say we're more teammates than independently. So.
And Kelly Byers, is he there with Brad?
No, Kelly's here with Leston Marthaler with Modified. So he's. We had dinner the other night. He was with us, but he's busy with the Modified this weekend.
Oh, I'll be darned. Here, I thought he was helping you guys out. Well, you got them right where you want them, man. I don't think you're going to be sneaking up on them the way it looks to me. But you got to start in the back, I guess, right?
Yeah. So that was unfortunately the tire deal down here is a little unique. They allowed you to run a 1050 or a 1057 or a 1060 tire. So we had Friday night we had put the 1060, which is our right side tire, on the right side of the car, thinking that it'd be for the race on Sunday. That would be the way to go. That tire does not like the track, I guess. It just the car wasn't very good with those tires on it. So unfortunately, we kind of wasted Friday night's race with the 60 compound on the rights. We were one of the only teams that did it. I think Derek Thorne and I were the only two guys that did it, and he had said the same thing I did. It just not the right count, not the right selection. So for Saturday, we picked the 57s all the way around, which is what everybody was doing. So we qualified well. And I was very happy with the car. And then they ran out of 57s. So then they made the guys that didn't have tires, which was Brad and I pretty much, and maybe a couple other guys, run 60s all the way around the car, which is a right side tire, so they're a lot bigger. So it really threw everything off going into last night's race. And we kind of knew that going into the race, that we were going to be at a disadvantage compared to most, but you deal the hand that you're dealt. So
there you go.
Unfortunately, we struggled in the heat race, which is a starting position for the feature. So it will be starting towards the tail of the field, but we have the 57s on the car for the race, so that's all that matters. And
150 laps to get to the front.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. I haven't really got a lot of laps here, so I think the first 75 is just managing tires and then trying to get through the field as best we can without getting things torn up. So.
Well, the Wisconsin bus will be getting to my place here shortly, and Scott Hansen is driving a few of us down there, and we'll be in the stands to watch your race today. Steve, we certainly wish you the best of luck, and I don't know if I'm going to get a chance to see you personally, but we're rooting for you. You're going to hear some noise from these the cheeseheads in the crowd.
Well, good. I think we had a couple sponsors fly down, so we'll have some fans in the stands, and beautiful day. So, unfortunately, the wife and the kids are back home in the cold, but I think they'll be watching on Flow Sports. So,
you called her, told her to listen, because you'll say hi and tell her how it's going to be 80 today down there, right? That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's
Good luck,
cloud
Steve.
in the sky right now. So, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me.
Give him hell, man. We'll see you later. Steve Apel, driver of the bright red number 51. Beautiful car. You can see it on Flow Racing starting at 2 o'clock. We'll be right back.
This week on NASCAR Live, we continue our team previews for Joe Gibbs Racing, 2311 Racing, and Richard Childress Racing.
Just looking forward to taking advantage of opportunities. We had a good season last year, but we didn't get a win, and we had a lot of opportunities to do that slipped away, and that's what we're focused on. How do we refine everything? How do we not make mistakes? How do we get our cars even better so we're more competitive, more consistently?
There's much more waiting for you each week on NASCAR Live.
Every Tuesday night at 6 on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship-winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at WagnerAutomotive.com.
Hey, race fans, Elkhart Lake's Road America Season Pass is now available at early bird pricing for a limited time. The Road America Season Pass makes a great gift for you or the racing fan on your gift list. This special personalized pass includes 50-plus days of racing, including the IndyCar, Superbikes, and more. Hurry and order your Season Pass today at RoadAmerica.com. That's RoadAmerica.com or 1-800-365-RACE. Road America, your national park of speed.
And now, the Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick.
The story is the Jets are hiring Daniel Hackett, and he's the former head coach of the Broncos, and he was the quarterback's coach in Green Bay. So now we hired him, we're getting Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if it works that way, but can you get Rodgers to agree to 2 years? And if you can, I would make a trade.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan and the Danettes and you.
Weekday mornings, 8 to 11 on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
Welcome back to the program. You know, there are people that will take cars that are less than stout to get their first race. Riley Herbst has money, I guess, is the deal, right? Brian, he's been around and he's had enough from the terrible Herbst franchise in Las Vegas, which is a string of gas stations, to get himself into some pretty decent rides.
Yeah, evidently. Yeah, I mean, he really hasn't shown much when he's done it, but he's been able to nab the top rides and make them run very meteoric, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
meteoric.
Meteoric, that's different. That goes straight to the top. Either way, he's going to be in the Daytona 500 for the first time this year. Woohoo! He's going to be in a Rick Ware car, number 15. Okay, well, good luck with that.
And that where it is they switched the points when they're 51 and 15 from last year, because that 15 car has been in the bottom 3 for 2 years in a row now. So if it goes again, NASCAR could take the charter. So now they switched it with the 51. So that means if the 51 finishes in the bottom 3 this year, that charter could be in danger.
Yeah, interesting. Brian, you know who Connor Mosack is, right? He's like a Trans Am. They call him a star. Is he a big-time winner?
Yeah, he's been pretty decent in the Trans Am stuff. He's been doing it for several years, and now he's been dabbling with the circle track stuff lately. And he must have some money behind him, because that Trans Am stuff is you pay way more than you ever win running that. So he's been in a super late model. He did a little bit of it last year. He might even have been was he at Kaukauna last year, Dan? He might even have been at the Dixieland last year.
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah. So he's been around here.
Experience, yeah. But he's going to race at New Smyrna, but he's got himself 3 road course races for Gibbs Racing this year in ARCA, I guess. And he's going to be, I guess, full-time in Sam Hunt Xfinity car. Do you know very much about that team?
Yeah, that's like a satellite Gibbs team. It's 26. I'm gonna have another car this year too.
Okay, well, Connor Mosack is the name there. Here's a name we know around our parts. In fact, the short track ace Bubba Pollard is going to team up with Casey Johnson. They're going to be driving the Apex Motorsports car, which that's a local team, right, Dan?
Right. That's Travis Dasso's group, and always put good cars out. And that's for the Stars National Tour races in Wisconsin. Probably Madison.
Northern swing, all the northern races. I mean, that's a pretty cool deal for Bubba.
I think that means we'll see him back at the Nationals in a pretty decent car as a teammate to Casey Johnson, as well as like maybe Madison, Kaukauna.
Imagine that.
Always good to have Bubba around here, because he's a fan favorite, decent guy to hang out with, and competitive racer.
Yeah. I'd say he's more like Dick Trickle than any driver that's out there right now. He barnstorms the country, wins wherever he goes, and thanks to you guys, I think he's starting to party a little more, which is
remember at Madison a couple years ago, Dan?
Yes.
Yeah, what they say, his eyes looked like 2 piss holes in the snow that morning, and he raced that day.
We did Trickle proud last night or something.
Yes, and he still came up and did the interview with us at 10 o'clock in the morning. So he's a rock star when it comes to that stuff, and he's not a young guy either.
No, well, he's in his 30s, believe it or not. But yeah, you're right. He's, I guess, in the big picture, there's a lot of younger guys out there. Gentlemen, it was 38 years ago today that Sergeant Pepper taught the band to play. It was the 5th of February, 1985, that Let's Talk NASCAR took to the airwaves for the first time. It's our 38th anniversary today, as we are now into our 39th season. It was me all by myself the first year or two, and then I started adding teammates, to which I would not still be doing this program if I didn't have Ed Kaluka and Dan Margetta at my side, as they have been for most of that time. And hey, happy birthday to us. What the hell? There's nobody else.
Kyle Busch to win.
There's nobody else in the country who's been doing this as long as we have, if you can believe that. Would say it.
Kyle Busch is going to win.
Yeah, I agree. That's my pick, too.
I'll go with Christopher Bell.
Oh, you're making me make a decision. I'll go with the 45 car today, because it's his time. Hey, real race cars have doors, even if they do climb in through the windows. Let's Talk NASCAR is produced and directed by Dangerous Dan Margetta. Our engineer is Matt Losey for the entire team. Thanks for tuning in, and the bus is leaving. I'm going to Tucson. See you later, everybody.
This program has come to you live from multiple locations via Skype. Any and all comments expressed on this show do not necessarily express the opinions of this station, its employees, or advertisers. Your comments are always welcome at mail@ltnradionetwork.com. Find us at facebook.com/LTN Radio Network. And thank you for your support since 1985. Tune in again next Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time for the LTN Hour on the LTN Radio Network.